Low. By Charles Hoyfort. Part 2, Chapter 23. Deluges and falls of lumps of ice. Throughout England. France deluged. Water dropped from the sky at Lausanne, Switzerland, flooding some of the streets 5 feet deep. It was not rain. There were falling columns of water from what was thought to be a water spout. The most striking of the statements is that bulks dropped. One of them was watched. Or some kind of a vast, vaporous cow sailed over town, and people looked up at her bag of water. Something that was described as a large body of water was seen at Coburg, Ontario. It crossed the town, holding its bag-like formation. 2 miles away, it dropped. It splashed rivers that broke down all dams between Coburg and Lake Ontario. In the Toronto Globe, June 3rd, this falling bulk is called a water spout. Follow the similar bulk in Switzerland, crops and houses and bridges mixing down the valley, at Sargans. Follow the bulk, at Reichenbach, Saxony. It was a water spout. London Times, June 6th. This time the fishmonger is a water spout. Spain pounded by falling waters. Madrid flooded. Many buildings damaged by a violent hailstorm. Deluges in China continuing. Deluges in Australia continuing. Floods in Argentina. People of Ayacucho driven from their homes. Sudden rise of the river at Buenos Aires. In the South American journal of this period are accounts of tremendous downpours and devastation in Brazil and Uruguay. One of these bodies of water that were not rain fell at Checknall, Dorsetshire, England. The people, hearing crashes, looked up at a hill and saw it filled with billows. Watery roughs, from 8 to 10 feet high, heaved on the hill. The village was tossed in the surf. The cause of this remarkable occurrence was for some time unknown, but it has now been ascertained that a waterspout burst on Batcombe Hill. So wrote Mr. Simmons, in whose brains there was no more consciousness of all that was going on in the world about him than there was in any other pair of scissors. It was not ascertained that a waterspout had burst on Batcombe Hill. No waterspout was seen. What was ascertained was that columns of water of unknown origin had fallen high on the hill, gouging holes, some of them 8 or 9 feet deep. Though Mr. Simmons gave the waterspout explanation, it did occur to him to note that there was no statement that the water was salty. These bulks of water, and their pendant columns, that they were waterspouts, or that slaughter had lain with life, and that murderous mothers had slung off their udders, from which this earth drank through teats that were cataracts.